This is the Padua Podcast Network.
Running a Fever, Episode 300. 300.
Running a Fever, Episode 1, on the trail for the first time. I'm not going to have an attitude that maybe I'm going to run. I'm definitely going to run. So far I've just been thinking about running.
300. Definitely past Episode 8, which is, that's the thing. Most podcasts do not get to 8. That's one of those statistics. But anyway, I'm glad to get to this point to where I have, at least that many episodes. Makes me feel a little better about being able to continue. 300. Episode 30. Wow. The big 3-0. 300.
Running a Fever, episode number 50? Yes! Welcome to the centuplicate episode of Running a Fever.
Running a Fever, episode 200. And we're about to go into our third year of Running a Fever on all media outlets. It's a podcast, it's a YouTube channel, it's a blog at runningafever.com.
300.
Welcome you to this special edition. It's the month of March 2020. Probably everyone listening to this is affected by this issue. So what we're talking about is a virus. The official name right now is Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, or SARS-CoV-2. So let's start with the basics. What is a virus? Episode 238, Rumors of COVID Vaccine Side Effects. Things in my area are pretty bad COVID-wise. They've gotten worse, and so I'm not going to the gym, not going out walking. Last week, I started feeling some of the COVID symptoms.
Today I got my first COVID vaccine shot, and I'm going to tell you all about it in this episode.
This episode is the beginning of a major series. The subject of this series is dementia. The fact is, some pretty reliable sources of medical information say that dementia is preventable.
300. 300.
And then I was thinking, why not just shatter the yo-yo altogether so it doesn't even exist? With that in mind, I'm going back to 2018.
300.
Running a Fever, Episode 300. 300.
Running a Fever, episode 300. Shattering the yo-yo. Longevity. Previously on Running a Fever.
I have so many things I want to do in life. I love my life. I want to make this world a better place, and I've got all kinds of ideas on how to do that and time that I need to put those ideas into action. So if I can't get my 72 hours a day, I'm just going to have to live a really, really long life. And I don't think it takes a long time to do that. I really don't. I don't think you need to spend 2 hours in the gym every day. I mean, what's the point? Break down your muscles and leave. Let them rebuild for a couple of days. Did work out all the soreness last week, which was good. Trying to push my pace to save time and increase my heart rate a little bit, work a little harder. So I think I've done that. I'm no longer, I think, walking a 20-minute mile, probably shorter than that, maybe 18. So we're at about 3 miles now, 46 minutes. I probably didn't calculate that correctly. No, 2.4 miles. Pace hasn't really changed. I'm just taking some longer steps, and I'm definitely feeling it, but I'm not losing my energy. So hydration department, I did drink a 20 ounce on the way out here, but I didn't drink near enough during the day, probably maybe half of what the minimum that I should be getting. But I found out a little bit of information about that sort of nugget of information that I got from a bodybuilding website, in which I learned that bodybuilders will drink 10 liters of water per day. And I found out that's not exactly true on a consistent day in, day out, year in, year out basis. I found a very interesting video, workout tips from actors or something like that. From these guys who they have to look good on film, characters that are supposed to be really strong and big and muscular and no fat, of course. To actually look like that is not so easy. And one of the bodybuilding tricks is, the only way you get definition is to have as little fat as possible. But it's not just fat. You've probably heard that the body's 2/3 water. So a lot of that's going to be water. It's a little extreme. What happens is your body gets trained such that it expects that you're going to have that much water coming in, so it doesn't retain any water. And once you have it tricked, 36 hours before, the scene where they have to have their shirt off or whatever, you just quit drinking water. It just all goes away. And then they did something so extreme it's dangerous, and you can lose a lot of weight. I lost 8 pounds in 2 days, but it's all water. You gotta put it back into your body. It's not really helping you in the long run. So there you go. All these changes in the body: 70% diet, 30% exercise.
Welcome to Running a Fever. My name is Michael Davis, and for the past 300 episodes, this has been a podcast about fitness, diet, and medicine. And my goal is to live a long, healthy, happy, active life right up to the very end. If that's what you want, then you're in the right place. We're listening to episode 64, and this is a good example of what I learned about patience, I think. I get a sense that this slow progress is good, and I should continue to learn. That's key as well. It shows up in what I learned about the extremes of hydration and dehydration, as well as the metabolic issues that I had early in the year. I am drinking more water now, matching what I did in 2018. I may not be drinking enough still, but I get several servings when I'm in the office, and even at home, I'm having water after my coffee in the morning. And chiefly in this episode, I express my desire for longevity. I still have that for the show as well as myself, but it's good to be reminded of that priority. And finally, thank you very much for listening. We've been through a lot in the last 100 episodes, and you got a survey of that at the top of the show. Nothing motivates me more for good health than this podcast. I hope it inspires you as well. So, if you already have the fever, keep it. If you don't have the fever yet, catch it. And I'll talk to you next time on Running a Fever.